to talk to you guys about balance a little bit today. I told you guys that the theme of this virtual Trail Rider Challenge is balance, so here we are to talk about it. If you guys have been around horses for a little while, you've been working on improving and learning, you know that horsemanship is an art. And just like the great artists, the old masters like from the Renaissance, they focus very much on just their little line drawings. They got all their feel and all the little lines right and their proportions right. They got everything right before they made the big masterpiece paintings. And so our horses are a lot like that. We have to if we can take all of the foundation skills, and they're like building blocks. And those building blocks fit at the bottom of our pyramid, and we just keep doing them better, and then we kind of just work our way up to where we get that ideal picture of that horse that we want that's at the top. So we just keep working up our pyramid. But every time something doesn't go right, we go back to the building blocks, okay? So it's always going back to the basics. So one of those really basic concepts that we really need to be mindful of and practice is balance. So what is balance with your horse? Balance means that your horse has equal weight on both sides of its body. And then it also has equal weight from front to back. It's not putting too much weight on the front. It's not putting too much weight on the back, though we do work at putting our horse's weight on the haunches because it kind of tends to go to the front. But we want the weight distributed equally on all 4 feet. So you might say, what happens if you don't have balance? Like, why do we care? Well, if your horse has stiffness issues, resistance issues, sometimes it comes from horses that are spooky. If they have some minor lameness issues, it could be balance. It could be that because they're putting too much weight on one leg or another leg, or they're using a muscle group wrong. If you're using a muscle group wrong, then chiropractically things are going to get out of whack. If you go into a curve and your horse slows down drastically, that could be because they don't have the balance. If they speed up, like kind of panicky speed up, that can mean their balance is off. If you're trying to go in a circle and your horse's head always goes to the outside, it means they don't have enough balance. Shoulders pushing out, lack of balance. Hindquarters swinging out when you go through a circle or a bend, lack of balance. Drifting sideways on a line, lack of balance. So a lot of the common mistakes and problems that we have come down to taking the time to work on our horse's balance. So the first thing we have to think about with the balance is ourselves. Like, what are we doing and how is it affecting our horse? So you want to make sure that your hips and shoulders are in a line. I tend to see people want to lean into a circle. Okay, so if I'm leaning in here, now I've got more weight on this hip. I don't have weight here, and what happens? Our horse drifts out. Okay, occasionally horses will try to come under you and kind of collapse in, but usually they're going to come out. So those are just little things to be aware of as our balance in our body. If you fix everything and your horse still isn't balanced, you fix everything in yourself, sometimes you might want to check with a chiropractor. I know I had to do a lot of chiropractic because I had some issues going on where I was causing some horses some stiffness under my right hip because my right hip was stuck. So just little things to think about in ourselves, keeping our chin up and our chest up and looking to where we're going to go. Turn your body, let your eyes pull you. Our cues need to be super small. Like, always start, I think of cues as having 3 parts. There's like your dream cue. Like, if you picture this magical rider, whatever your dream is, whatever discipline it is, and usually when you picture that person, you can't even tell what they're doing, right? It's just like, oh, they might be squeezing here or breathing here, or, just these little tiny movements. When you picture that fantasy ride, you're not ripping and pulling and, stuff like that. So you want to think, okay, so my dream ride, what do I want my cue to be? For me, I just want to squeeze my fingers. I want to think about what I want to do, and I want my horse to do it. So that's my first cue, is my dream thing. My second cue is going to be like, hey, you know what? This is what we're doing, okay? It's still polite, but it's going to be a little more. Like I say, if I need to stop, I might pull my hands a little bit. My first cue would be, I'm going to just kind of breathe and sit down. My second cue would be this. And then my third cue is like, you have to. So my third cue, I'd be like, whoa, you know, we are not going any farther. So in regards to balance, if you're turning your horse, say you're turning to the right, before you do something big, maybe just give a little squeeze. I like to just open my hand an inch or two off the wither and just give maybe a little squeeze if I have to, and turn and look with my seat and just let my horse go there. I like to play games. I just call it like riding like a snake, where I just turn a little bit and then they wander off this way. And when they turn, I don't worry about how much that turn is. I just turn a little bit and kind of let them wander over there. And then I might turn a little bit and let them wander over there. And what I'm trying to teach them is just to follow their nose. So many times we get our horses like super bendy and shoulders pushing out and things like that, but we kind of just forget that simple concept of just follow your nose, right around like you're a little snake, tipping over here, tipping over there, just wandering around your arena or wherever it is that you ride. So that'd be the first exercise. Follow the nose, and you want the horse's body. You want the horse's body to stay in that line. So you're going to start with just real little bends. All right, a few other exercises. Straightness is the next thing you're going to want to work on. It's a skill that takes practice, and it's something we often don't think about practicing. So first, I would say practice riding in straight lines. Pick a point 100 feet away or more and ride to it. So a common mistake when we're riding to that point is, oh, I got to pull his head back. I got to pull his head back. I got to do this. I got to do that. But I want you to do I see you, Austin. I want you to do way less, okay? So if you're going to let that horse go in the straight line, I like to let my hands be a little wide and low, and my horse's nose is the front of my triangle, okay? So if I have my hands wide and low and the horse's nose is in the front, and I have just light contact, if they tip their nose to the side, they're going to bump against the rein, and then when they put their head back straight, they're going to give themselves their own release. And it's so much of a more perfect release than we could ever give them. And then while you're doing that, you're going to get your body perfectly straight, and you're just going to keep pointing their nose towards that item and see if you can work out that straightness without doing a lot. If you need to do a lot, just like squeeze a finger, like do like so little, and see if you guys can find straight. Because usually horses in the pasture walk straight on their own. So if the horse is wandering all over, it's usually us. If you've ever seen a horse like run in because you're shaking a feed bucket, they do it in a straight line. So keep working on straight. When you're getting your walk good, then go ahead and go to your trot and to your lope. Then, once you can do that straight line, we want to start doing some transitions on that line. So go from a walk to a halt, back to a walk. And can you keep that whole horse on the line? You might go from a walk to a trot to a walk. You might go from a walk to a stop to a back up, and then from your back up to a walk. And see, can you keep that horse on the line? So that's just a really great place to start working on your balance. When you're good on the straight line, then you can start playing with your balance on a curve. So you may, ride a circle. Can you stop on that circle? Can you then walk forward on that circle? Can you keep going on that circle? Another common mistake I see with people with obstacles is when that shoulder is bowing to the outside, you kind of want to pull that horse back to the inside. But what really works is to keep your hands down in a regular position and just squeeze on that outside rein a little bit, and it's gonna fix that. So what happens when that shoulder's bulging out is they're turning from like the base of their neck instead of like through their body. And so a little bit of correction with that rein, and then you can usually get that worked out. So that's my chat about balance this morning. I hope that helps you with your trail challenge rides. I think a little focusing on that, everybody's scores should go up pretty quickly. So thank you guys. Bye.